Hello everyone, Stephen here with Renogy. Today we have a great opportunity to go over our complete solar system here on this XT19HRT by MDCUSA. So we're going to start off. There's 5 main components in the system, and it's a complete Renogy ecosystem for solar, for battery charging, and for backup energy storage. So first off, we're going to start with the solar system. On the roof, we have 1225 watts of solar. That solar system is really big and it's really great for any kind of usage, for any kind of off-grid scenario. Going down from the solar panel, we have a solar charge controller, which is basically going to regulate the solar charge coming in to make sure that it's charging our 800 amp hour lithium battery pack. It's 2 400 amp hour REGO 12-volt batteries, and that's basically going to be your backup battery storage for this system. From there, we have our DC to DC charger. That DC to DC charger is capable of recharging this battery when you're driving down the road from point A to point B to make sure that you're getting adequate charge when you're driving down the road. Last but not least, we have our inverter charger. The inverter charger is a 3000 watt inverter charger. Not only can you convert 12 volt DC electricity to 120 volts AC electricity, but you're able to plug into shore power when you're at your campsite to really recharge this battery at the full capacity. And last but not least, we have our Renogy One Core monitor, and that kind of gives you a complete readout and understanding of what's happening in the system at the palm of your fingertips. And if you don't want to go to the monitor, you can get a readout on your cell phone as well. So we're going to dive in today, we're going to have some fun, and we're going to go over all the benefits and key features of the system. Underneath the bench seats, we have 2 12 volt 400 amp hour batteries wired in parallel. So it's a 12 volt 800 amp hour battery bank. One great feature about these batteries is they can operate in below freezing temperatures. So they do have a built-in heater. As soon as they drop below 41 degrees Fahrenheit, that heater is going to activate and it's going to keep the cells warm. And it's going to use the incoming charge to use that power for the heater itself. So it's not going to discharge the consumption of the batteries. And on the batteries themselves, we do have an LED indicator on top that will say heater status. When the heater is on, that will be illuminated. So that's all automated. That's built into the BMS of the batteries. It's going to happen automatically in those conditions. And then when it's not in freezing temperatures, it's going to turn off and continuously run as normal. Second, I want to go over is the startup procedure. So we do have the batteries off, and we have our main disconnected as well. So we have everything off. So the first thing we want to do for the startup procedure is actually turning on the batteries themselves. So either battery, whatever one is easier to access, there's going to be the battery button that's right on top. All you're going to do is hold it down for 1, 2, 3 seconds, and then you're going to see the sequence of the battery LEDs turn on both of the batteries. So once they turn on, you should see the state of charge. So we have 4 LED indicators here. Each one is 25%. And then you could also verify up here on the Renogy One Core panel, and you can see the battery information. So that's going to be the startup procedure. And then also you want to go ahead and engage the main breaker. So now we are sending and receiving power through the whole system. If you don't engage that breaker, basically these batteries are just going to be idle and they're not going to be able to be used. So now we have the main breaker engaged, batteries are on. We can start turning on loads and sending a charge to the batteries. Now we can go ahead and go over the shutdown sequence. So we're basically doing what we just went over in reverse order. So first, we're going to go ahead and hit the main breaker into its off position. And we want to wait a couple seconds, maybe about 5 to 10 seconds, to make sure that there's nothing flowing into the batteries. And then we're going to go to one of the batteries and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hold down the button for about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. You're going to let go. You're going to see them all blinking. It looks like Christmas lights. And then you're going to see them turn off completely, as we see here. So that's key. You just want to make sure that the main breaker is off. If you do have any kind of charge coming to these batteries, they won't turn off. They're going to stay on and they're going to stay flashing. So you want to make sure that you disengage that breaker so there's no feed coming into the batteries. So that completes the rundown of the battery system. how they operate in those freezing temperatures, how to start them up, and then how to shut them down as well. So now we're going to cover the DC to DC charger with MPPT, which is this unit right here. This is actually combining the chassis battery when you're driving down the road, also the solar input on top. It's splitting half of the solar that we have on the roof. I believe we have 3 of the solar panels going into this, and then the other 4 panels are going into the other charge controller. So we are using this DC to DC charger to charge the system efficiently, using those 2 sources between the starter battery and through the solar as well. The main thing to know about this is the LED indicators. Here you can kind of see all the way on the right is our battery type. Blue is for lithium, so you want to make sure that it is in lithium. Your second one right here that is green, that's basically indicating your battery state of charge. Right now we are topped off, so it's green, it's saying that it's at a good state. And then this one is our solar indicator that's showing we are getting solar charge right now. And then that last one that looks like an alternator is when it's connected to the towing vehicle and you are driving down the road. That will be illuminated and it'll be bringing in the charge from the starter battery as well. So the DC to DC charger should be defaulted to lithium, which is that blue light. If for whatever reason it's not blue, if it's a different color like orange or green or yellow, you do have to go into the Renogy One Core and program it back to lithium. So let's go ahead and go to the Renogy One Core and we can go over that. So here at the Renogy One Core, we're looking for the DC to DC with MPPT charger, which is actually the first unit right here. If it's not the first unit on your screen, you're going to go ahead and click this screen, and then this shows all of the units. So here it is on top. You're going to go ahead and click onto that tile. And then once this shows up, this is the user interface for the DC to DC MPPT. All we're doing is looking for the top little 3 dots in the right hand corner. We're going to click that, and this goes into the settings. Here you could change the device name, and then you could change the battery type. So we are set to lithium. If we were set to something else, and then it'll show successful. And then we go back to this screen. So now we're in gel. You want to go ahead and switch back to lithium, save, wait for it to say successful, go back, it'll show LI, and then when you go back to the DC to DC charger, that blue light will be illuminated for the battery type. Okay, so over here is going to be the dedicated MPPT solar charge controller. This is handling a majority of the solar on the roof. It's handling 4 of the solar panels, and it's really optimizing the solar input coming into the battery. This one on the REGO is very simple. We do have a tactile button on here for the battery type. So we want to make sure that it is set to LI, which is lithium. It should be set from the factory, but if it's not, very easy. All you're going to do is switch it to LI and make sure that the arrow is pointing to LI. Other than that, all there is on here are the 2 indicators. Here it will show solar input when you have any kind of solar charge coming in. And then here at the battery, it will give you battery indicators as well. This is a set it and forget it system. It's a turnkey unit, so out of the box, it will be able to automatically bring in the charge and make sure that it's efficiently charging your battery with the solar system on the roof. If you want to dive more into the settings, you can either go through the Renogy One Core or through the app. So let's go ahead and go to the Renogy One Core and we can see some more settings on the MPPT charger. Okay, so on the Renogy One Core, you're going to go ahead and go to the second screen, which is showing all of our devices. Here you can see 60 amp MPPT, which is going to be the main dedicated charge controller. And then once you click that tile, this will give you the exact information of what's happening in the system. Currently, we're bringing 350 watts, 51 watts of solar. You can see the solar voltage, amperage, 21.5, so on and so forth. So this will tell you all the information. If you don't want to come to the Renogy One Core and you have your phone synced up, this will give you exactly the same information. So here you're going to go to the 60 amp MPPT tile, and this gives you a nice little user interface and showing you the flow and what kind of charging rate we are going. We're in the absorption stage right now. And same thing, this will give you all the information on the system as the Renogy One Core as well. So this is all you need to know on the unit. If there's ever an error it will indicate that there's an error. It'll stop charging, and then it will clear itself out and be able to start charging by itself. So here underneath the bed is going to be the inverter charger. So this is a 3000 watt high frequency inverter charger. So not only is it an inverter, which is converting the battery power to usable 120 volt AC power for all of the outlets in the trailer, but also it's a converter charger. So when you plug into shore power, the charge is going to be flowing through the inverter charger back to your batteries. It does charge the batteries at a 150 amp rate. It is set to remote settings, so you really don't have to go underneath here to turn on the unit. It's actually going to be over here right in the front, and this is for the inverter. All we're going to do is hold down that button, and you can see, and you'll hear that inverter turn on, and you'll see the LED indicators. Your first one is going to be if we're connected to the battery, which we are right now. And then your second one is going to be your inverting. So we currently are inverting. And then your last LED indicator will indicate if we are connected to shore power and if we're charging. And then we have 3 little switches here. The first one is going to be for the buzzer. You can turn it on and off. It's great to keep it off from the factory. Typically it's going to be off. Frequency is going to be at 60 Hertz since we're in the USA. And then priority is to AC priority. So anytime you're connected to shore power, that's going to take priority over the batteries. This is the on and off switch. You want to make sure it's set to the bottom, which is remote. So the power is going through the remote. And then this is just the Bluetooth antenna. And if you want to dive more into the specifications, let's go up to the Renogy One Core and we can see more information. So for the inverter charger, we do have it on the main screen here. So you can click it here, or you can go to the second screen, which shows all of our devices. We're going to go ahead and click on the tile that says inverter charger. And here you can see if we had shore power coming in, it would show a little diagram. We have our battery, and then we have our load output. So that's the information on the Renogy One Core, or you could pull up the companion app as well, do a little refresh, and then we can go to the inverter charger tile, and this will show you that same information. One thing that you can do on the app that you can't do on the Renogy One Core is actually turn on and off the output. So say if you were ever remote and you wanted to turn off the output and you had the core connected to the Wi-Fi, you can go here and turn it off, and you'll be able to turn off any kind of AC output on the unit itself. So that's one nice feature. Other than that, it's going to show everything else identical to what you would see on the Renogy One Core. Okay, so up here in the control panel is going to be the Renogy One Core monitor, and this is going to be the central monitor for the complete system. Here we have it on, and here we have the main switch to turn on the Renogy screen. We want to make sure that it is illuminated. If it's off, the screen will be off, so you click it up and it'll make sure that we are sending power to the Renogy One Core. Here is the main display. It'll show you your state of charge, it'll show you your time, it'll show you how much time it'll actually be fully charged in based on the charge that's coming in. Or if we were in the negative, if we were discharging the battery, it would tell you how much time you have left over in that battery based on the state of charge and based on the current draw. Your second screen, this is when you could dive into more information on each component. So here we have the 4 main components, the 50 amp DCDC MPPT. We have the dedicated 60 amp MPPT charger. We have the 3000 watt inverter charger, and then of course our 2 batteries. So we went over how you can see all the information on each component. Next, here we can see our settings. And basically here you can change display, you can change your sleep mode if you want the screen to turn off. You can go ahead and turn the backlight adjustment to all the way bright or not. Here you can go into more system settings, network, language, date and time, unit, state of charge, source settings, pair with app, about, restart, automatic, restart, reset, power off. The main thing on these screens is you want to go ahead and go to settings, systems first, and you want to make sure that we are on the latest firmware version of this. So to do that, you want to make sure that you're connected to the internet first. So you're going to go to network, you're going to go to WLAN, and you're going to connect to either a mobile hotspot or if you have a Wi-Fi network available. Currently, I'm connected to my hotspot on my phone. You can see that this is on. If this is off, you just want to make sure that the available networks is on, and it will activate that Wi-Fi antenna. So since we're connected to the internet, we can go to About, and this will show about the firmware version. This is the latest firmware, but we want to make sure that we're on it. So you're going to click the check for updates button. It's going to cycle. It's going to look for if there's any available updates over the air. If there is, it will say update available. You click update available. It will automatically install that update. It will automatically restart the unit, and it will be able to go from there with the updated firmware. So we are on the latest firmware update, but I always recommend to confirm that because we do roll out firmware updates ever so often, which is optimizing the system. So now that we have the latest firmware update, now we want to go ahead and sync up the DC Home app. So on either iOS or Android, you're going to go into the store and you're going to download the DC Home. So DC Home is under Renogy. Once it's downloaded, you're going to go ahead and create an account. You're going to log in, and then once it's logged in, you're going to have this main interface. I have some other units here, you can ignore those. But once you're on this main screen, it's going to say My Renogy up top. And basically what we want to do is pair the app to the core. So how to do that? We have this pair with app on the Renogy One Core. So we're going to click that. It's going to generate a QR code that we can pair. And all we're going to do at the top right hand corner of the DC Home app, we're going to click that plus sign and we're going to click scan QR code. That's going to come up with your camera. Make sure your camera is clear, and then you want to make sure that there's not a huge glare on the scan so it could scan. There, it's going to scan. It's going to say Renogy One Core paired successfully. You're going to click done, and then now you're going to see all the devices that you saw on the Renogy One Core through your DC Home app, which is very nice. And you can confirm that you're paired with the app. If you go back to pair with app, it will show that it's paired with your user profile. This is great. Now you can monitor your system since we're connected to Wi-Fi anywhere throughout the world. So as long as you have the mobile hotspot or the core connected to Wi-Fi on your phone, you can pull up your app and you can monitor remotely your system to see what's going on. If you are just going to be local and you don't have a mobile hotspot, then we can turn it into an access point and we can directly connect from the app to the Renogy One Core as long as you're in local Bluetooth range. So to do that, you're going to go ahead and you're going to click System, and then you're going to go to Network, and then you're going to click AP. It's under WLAN. AP stands for Access Point. Once you do that, it says Allow to Join. Basically, you're making this core into a local hotspot that you can connect directly to. So you're going to go ahead and click Allow to Join. At this point, it's going to disconnect from your Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my hotspot. Make sure my Wi-Fi is on. And what I want to do on the Renogy One Core is up here, you see the little world. The world means we're connected to the cloud. Since we're doing direct connect local, we're going to change that. We're going to click that, and you're going to change from WLAN to AP access point. You're going to go ahead and click that. And this tells you to do what we just went over. Step 1, activate AP on the Renogy One Core. Step 2, connect your phone to the tablet, joining the AP. So now you're going to click Join AP. AP mode successfully enabled. Now we can go back to the home page, and now we are locally connected. So if you're in Bluetooth range, if you're driving down the road and you want to connect to your system, you can do that through the phone without a hotspot directly to the core. Or say you're at your campsite and you don't have any Wi-Fi connectivity, same thing. You're going to activate the access point, and then you can get that mirror from your Renogy One Core to your DC Home app. So that's everything that you need to know about the Renogy One Core monitor and the DC Home app. We went over how to set it up, how to pair it, how to do the over-the-air updates, and how to troubleshoot as well. So we hope you use this information down the road. It's very useful for setting up the Renogy One system in the MDC trailer. So thank you very much for your time today.